Now I want to show you using AI tools, ElevenLabs, and then in the next lecture I'm going to show you some non-AI ways in case you need to get these sound effects in another way that isn't AI, just to give you both options. But we have our edit here. Obviously I haven't completely edited it. The next stage after I've laid down all the video that I want, before I go in and edit, and that's do stuff like these titles you're seeing, and perhaps I'll make some shots move, slightly zoom in. I might color grade these to match and look a little bit more that 1940s Technicolor and stuff, and the timings and things. What I need to do is do my sound effects. I want my sound effects first on this part because they will dictate everything from my edits, my cuts. I might cut on a certain shot that comes in, like a sound, or also I need to do the voices that we were generating for the little bit of audio that I have here where the two fathers speak. So we can do all of that inside the main tool to use for this, which is ElevenLabs. So the first thing I'm going to do is generate some sound effects, and then we'll go in and do some voice changer and text to speech also for the two speech parts. So I'm just going to scroll through and do a few different sound effects to start with. So the first thing I want to, let me just come right here and go a drawing here. I might want a drawing sketching sound effect. So let's do that one. Drawing, sketching on paper. Oops, sketching. Let's generate that. So to remind you, over here on ElevenLabs, ElevenLabs.io, down here in the sound effects, this is where you can get this and just describing it exactly what it is you want. You can go to settings and there's more settings like automatically pick the best length, or I can tell it I want 15 seconds. I only really need 5 seconds, but I often generate 15 seconds because a middle part or an end part or start might be slightly better. So when it comes to the edit, I'll just use that part there. So here are my 4 generations. Let's have a listen. Okay. We need 2 people to join, so let's do that. Let's download this one and let's download this one. Then what I do over on my edit is I drag those in that I've just downloaded. Let's put them there. Let's have a little listen to these. Yeah, okay, let's grab like this section right here. I'm going to grab that amount. Let me see when I want to start the drawing. I'm going to have some sound effects right here of the drawing. Let's put that right there. Let's have a listen. I'm just going to turn it up. I can see right here it's down here. I want it to be more like there because I'm going to have some music over this. So I want to just make sure that's enough. With Premiere Pro, I can hit G and I can say turn it up 30. That's quite loud. Let's see. Wow, that's really loud. Okay, G, and I'm going to put that up 15. Keep it going until about here. Okay, let's actually just turn it down, minus that by 5, because I'm also going to have a girl humming. Young girl humming, as if she's humming to herself. See these generations? Nice, okay. So the first 2 seem to always be really good in ElevenLabs, and then the others not so much. Let's download those. I've got 2 because I've got 2 girls. I'll just show you putting it in one place. Let's go back and do that first one here. Okay, I'm gonna have it fade like here. I'll have it fade out. Okay, so now it comes in like here, which is nice. You got this going over. So I could have, for example, I could have going all the way from the start, which is a little bit eerie almost. So I could have it all the way from here. Okay, so I've got a girl humming and I've got that. Remember, there's going to be music over this, so it's not going to be too prominent, too eerie. So the other thing I'm going to go across, let me just pan through. I've got the same thing. I might have the noise of a city dockyard. Let's do a busy dockyard in the distance. Have a listen. I'll place this here and cut it as soon as this cuts out of there. Have a little listen. Yeah, just gonna move that sketching down slightly. Okay, so I've got those noises. I have the same for a Japanese city here, humming and sketching. Then this is Amy. There's some more sketching noises happening here and here, and then footsteps walking in. So I want footsteps on wooden floor. Okay, let's listen to that. Nice one. Not, maybe I need to say quick footsteps. Let's try it again with quick footsteps. It needs to match. The father walks in pretty sharpish on here. Where is he? He walks in. Okay, let's have a listen. Okay, I like this one, and this second one was pretty good. Download both of those. In the edit, I'll make that match his footsteps. And then I'm going to use the other one so it sounds slightly different for footsteps from here. Okay, then I want both the fathers talking here. I'll come back to that in a moment. Stick with some sound effects. Okay, back to sketching and probably humming here. Sketching noise, sketching noise. Now I want bombs dropping and a siren. So let's call it a war siren. I like that one. And let's do explosions and planes flying, men shouting, panic. Now it'd be something like that, although I'm going to turn this down slightly. G minus 5, and this one G minus 12, and we'll have some explosion noises here. We go back to that noise right there, and again here with an explosion. I'm going to put in the distance. Those noises sound like too much like I was in there. So something you might want to always put in there is in the distance, explosions, planes flying, for my example. And then what I'm going to do is, remember Suno we used to get in some tracks I downloaded earlier? After we have this explosion, I'm going to turn this right down, G minus 13, is I might have a song kick in right here, and all this be with music over the top, if you like that. Okay, let's go back to our sounds. Quite like both of these noises. That one with the guy like almost shouting, and that one with the explosion. So I'm downloading them both, and I'm going to use them both. So if I put this, where's American Amy back here when she first notices something's wrong, like here. So now I'm going to this other one where the explosions are in, like that noise right here, something like this. So let's blend these noises. That one definitely comes into that one. I'm just gonna make the gain come down on that one, and then I want that atom bomb, huge explosion. Oh, caps there, huge explosion in distance. Okay, I think this one's actually the best one, number 4. All right, add this one in, then I'm going to show you how it looks now with some sound effects in there. This huge explosion comes in right there, doesn't it? Okay, so it'd be like this, and then my music will come in, and it'll just be completely deafening music. So I'm just going to show you. I'm not going to put in the other sound effects for more stepping and things. I'll do that off camera. You can then see how this is going in the next stage of edit. But just to show you how it kind of brings it to life a little bit, let me play some of this for you and you can listen. So we've got a sketching, and then let me scroll across, some more sketching here, and footsteps come in. I'll match those up later for both of them, and then some talking. We'll do that in a moment. Then what's that noise? Alright, and then we've got more and more explosion noises going back and forward from siren. And then we'll have something like, I've got some songs right here that I downloaded that we used earlier. This song was 1940s style, made on Sumo. Let's have a listen.
In fields where lilies used to sway, the echoes of silence now.
Very 1940s. So what I want to do is, if I just take a little snippet of that, come to here, I'm going to put it on an audio track right where that explosion happens. And let's have it happen right as that's happening. It would now be something like,
in fields where lilies used to sway, the echoes of silence now hold sway. A soldier's song left in disarray, from war-torn nights to a broken day. The letters sent from distant lands, tear-stained words in trembling hands. A love.
So I've got an effect like this, and then it might be that something like, I had some just audio without any, some music track from Suno as well, without any dialogue in it, without any lyrics. So you see how we can just elevate that, just elevate the whole production by just adding some sound effects in there, something underneath, not just music, but some elements that sounds like, it really brings to life what you might be missing in visual. If something doesn't quite add up, what are they doing? Well, you can tell the whole story with a sound effect. So the only other thing I want to do now is I'm going to do some voices. So I've got to have the father's voice, and I've also got to have the father's voice for the American and the Japanese. You saw in the sound effects we did earlier that I generated voice to voice and also text to voice for the Japanese. In fact, I have that here in the audio for the Japanese dub.
今日はいい子にしてね、アミ。気づく前に帰るからね。今日も元気でね。Be good today, Ami.
In the quiet.
Make the most of today, Amy. I'll see you this evening.
So I'm going to add in those now over the top, and then you're going to see the final bit of me doing my sound effects really before we move on to the next step. Okay, little lady, come over here and say goodbye to your dad.
Okay, little lady, come over here and say goodbye to your dad.
わかりました。愛する人、お父さんに別れを買いに出てください。
So now I've put in, and I've just left a little note, this will be mainly in the edit, but just to remind myself of what this is, I have the audio in for my Japanese and my American. For example, let me play a bit for you.
わかりました。愛する人に来てください。
I'm heading to work. You can watch me from the window, okay?
仕事に置くよ。遅刻はしないけど。
So now I have pretty much all my sounds I want in, except a little bit of music that I'm going to keep playing with and adding, and that'll probably be, even when I've edited everything, finalized, up-resed, music might be this tiny little thing that I tweak throughout. It's probably the very last touch, but just to show you, this was everything I do for making sounds, just to make it those non-diegetic sounds, those sounds where they're meant to be diegetic, whereas in they're there on the scene, someone coloring, someone walking, but you put them in after to elevate it. And I use ElevenLabs for that. I'll quickly show you a way that you could use this if you're using non-AI to do it next, just quickly so that you have both options. Now, if you didn't want to use, or you didn't really need many sound effects and voiceover and things, and you weren't getting a subscription to ElevenLabs, there are some other ways you can get stock, if you like the word, stock sound effects and things like that. Now, your first bet is to go with something like, I said stick sound effects here, stock sound effects, and the best ones that come up, Artlist comes up, that's sponsored, and it comes up all the time on YouTube. You probably get it. And so's Envato, Elements. I've used Motion Array. Pixabay has some free versions of this. If I go into here and go sound effects and I search, for example, a siren, and then I can have a little listen for some of these, just like the air raid siren I was using, and I can download, and they are free and they are paid for. These are download siren royalty free sound effects. So Pixabay is probably your best bet for that right now if you wanted to have a free one. If you want to pay for, then of course there are lots of different packages on things like Motion Array is one I've used quite a lot, but there's obviously a monthly subscription package for that. Now, if you are going on to YouTube, if you're putting your footage onto YouTube only, there is something called the YouTube Fair Use Policy, where if you are adding to and using clips from other YouTube videos, that's okay. You've probably seen lots of videos where they're using small clips and sounds from other, not sounds so much, not music, but sounds or clips from other videos, and it comes under the YouTube Fair Use Policy. Please look it up though. You have to add to it, or for example, if someone's doing a movie review channel and they use clips of bits of movie, as long as they are talking about it and add it to it, that's okay under the Fair Use Policy. Or if you're just creating this for yourself, just for practice, that's fine. I could go into, for example, YouTube here, I can go siren sound effect, and then if there's a sound effect like this one, let's have a listen. Now, I could take that and I could just search YouTube free downloader online. There are lots of it. I quite like using Save From Net. You just take the URL right here and I pop it into there, hit download, ignore the ads. You can click for this one, allow me to download it inside my browser. I can choose, for example, I could just choose I want an audio, any one of these. You could download the video if you want to and then just use the audio for it. Hit download, ignore the ads, close those. It'll get ready in a moment, download it, and once again, ignore the ad, and it's now in my downloads. Once again, familiarize yourself though with the YouTube Fair Use Policy. You can search here to see if you're okay to use that and in what regard. And this is forever changing also. If you are just using it for yourself, then of course use that. Or like I mentioned, probably best bet for you is if you don't want to use AI to generate it, then you could use Pixabay, but make sure you are using royalty-free sounds. That's important. Okay, sound effects done.